everyone, today I want to do a video about a question that I get asked a lot, and that is, do I get one rabbit or should I get two rabbits? And the answer is whatever your desire is. So this is kind of how it is in the rabbit world. Some rabbits love to have other rabbits around, and some rabbits do not want any around. It just depends on their personality. But you won't really know their personality until they hit around 5, 6, 7 months old, and then you'll start to see the true personality of that rabbit. So there are rabbits that are completely lovable and they are so sweet. But as soon as they hit maturity at about 6 months old, when their hormones kick in, you'll see the true rabbit that they truly are. So there are rabbits that if you get a rabbit at 8 weeks old and you bring them up together and they are loving each other, and then they hit the 6, 7 month old period and then they start fighting and fur starts to going crazy, then you'll have to split them up. There are some rabbits that absolutely want that bond, and that's what they want, makes them feel good. So it all depends on the rabbit. So make sure when you get a rabbit that you can always have the room for two different places for the rabbits, that they're by each other like this, but they're not together, so there is no fighting. And I'll show you the tips that I found out in my many years of doing this. Tip 1 is never ever put a rabbit together. Never put two rabbits together until it is completely done with the bonding process. Never ever think that you can bond two rabbits together and be like, okay, it's all good, because it's not a for sure thing. Some rabbits like each other and some do not. So you'll never know exactly what it is until you try it. But I just want you to know it's not a for sure thing. You will never know until you put two rabbits together and you start the bonding process if that rabbit wants to be bonded with another rabbit or that rabbit wants to go solo. This is exactly how I look at the bonding process of two rabbits that do not want to be together. It's like putting a boss you don't like in your room, shutting the door, locking the door so neither of you can come out. It can get a little spicy. So remember, not all rabbits want to be bonded. We do not want to be stuck with our bosses. They don't want to be stuck with the other rabbit. So make sure you don't put them together until you know 100% sure that the bonding process has taken place. Step number 2. This is a question I get asked a ton. If I bond rabbits together, do I bond a male and a female together? Do I bond a female and a female together? Or do I bond a male and a male together? And this is my answer to that question. You can bond whatever you want together, male, female, male, female, female. However, this is my experience through the time that I've had rabbits, is I see a lot of the rabbits like to do the male and the female, and then you just get one neutered or spayed, whatever one you choose. The reason why is because of their hormones. Male have different hormones than females, just like we have different hormones than the male. So when you put a female and a female, you're getting the same hormones, or same thing with the male to a male, you're getting the same hormones. But if you put a male and a female together, their hormones are different. To get one or both, whatever you choose, spayed or neutered, and then wait about a month before you put put them together and really get that bond together, because it takes about a month for the male or the female, whatever one, for their hormones to lessen after they get spayed or neutered. Make sure that your male or female, after you get them neutered or spayed, that they're completely healed before you put them into a kennel or before you put them into a home with another rabbit. And make sure that they are completely bonded before you try this process. I've heard people that put the rabbits in after they get neutered or spayed, and there is a huge issue with fighting, and then their sores open up. Do you recommend, if you are bonding two rabbits together, that you do get them in similar age? Doesn't matter if they are Holland Lops, Mini Rexes, whatever. The breed doesn't matter, and the age doesn't always matter. But in my experience of seeing it, I like putting similar ages together because then they can grow up together at the same age or around the same age. It's really hard to get a rabbit that is 10 weeks old and one is 5 years old, and that 5-year-old one doesn't want to do the same things as the 8-week-old one. So in my experience, you don't have to, but in my experience, I see that it would be better to put similar ages together. But the breed does not matter. And that's another thing that I get questions a lot too. Can you get this breed and that breed and put them together? Yes, you can. You can put any breed that you want together as long as they get together and their personalities mesh well. Wait 3 to 4 weeks before you even start the bonding process. That way they can get to know the smells and they can get to know their surroundings first. You want to put the cages together like so. So you don't want to put them together where they're touching, because you don't want them to put their little nose in there and they like to nip. I've had one where we put them together like so, and they nipped and they took off a chunk of the nose. I've seen them put their hands like this, and I've seen them take a chunk off of their hands, their paws. Here are some acceptable things that may happen when you put your rabbit together, and it is okay. One thing is they might do minor sniffing, they might do minor mounting, because that's showing that, hey, I'm boss. So if you see minor mounting, sniffing, maybe a little nip here and there, and is what I did is I always stood, so you are always in arm length away. Never ever leave your rabbit feet length. That way that if something happens, you get in there. My experience though, I would never ever put my hands or feet or any body part when rabbits are fighting. What I have done is I have sat next to them and I've had a broom and it just sat there. And if they got a little nippy or they got to where they were having some issues, is what I would do is I would take that broom and I would just put it right in the middle and do a little jig like this and get them away from each other, and then grab one and put them back into the cage. Never ever put yourself in between a fighting rabbit, because I have done that when I first started and I have very bad marks to show that is not a good thing to do. Never ever hit your rabbit at all when they are doing something that you don't like. Is all you have to do is take a little broom and do a little jiggy with it. They will separate, grab one and put one into the place where they need to be. Here are some things that you may see with your rabbit that are unacceptable and you want to remove your rabbit from the other rabbit. One is if you see their ears laid back, or if they're severely mounting that rabbit and they're trying to really hurt them, it's time to separate the rabbit. This process could take months or it could take days. It just depends on the personality of. Once you start the bonding process, don't stop the process, because if you do, you'll have to start all over again, because rabbits are that way. It's easier just to keep on going and being consistent until they are bonded together. So once you have your cages and they're together, but they're not so close that they're going to bite each other, you let them go and you let them smell each other and you let them just get to know each other for a while. then you can start the bonding process. But first you want to get them to know their surroundings. You want to get to know them other. Here are some things that I heard that may help. It may help to take each of their potty trays and put them into each other's enclosures. So you're going to take them and completely reverse them. However, in doing that, always remember there could be a good or they could be a bad thing. The good thing is they could smell and get to know the other rabbit and stuff like that. The other thing is they could spray and pee all over. And then me, on the other hand, I wouldn't do that. I have had to where I've had a pee war between a bunch of rabbits, and it was the messiest thing ever. And I would never do that. But I've heard people say that that's a good bonding process. Now, another thing that I've heard that I would recommend instead of doing the pee thing, here is something that I would try though. It is called stress bonding. And what you do is you get a carrier, a rabbit carrier, dog carrier, cat carrier, whatever carrier you choose, you put them both together into the carrier and you bring them on a car ride. Now, what it is it's stress bonding. And what they're doing in the whole process of that is they're learning to rely on each other because they're stressed out and they're like, okay, I'm going to trust you now because this is when I need to trust you. And that seems to work a lot of the times. And I've done it and it has been successful for me. And then I put them back in their little cages when they got home. And then I've done that a few times. So then they got to know, oh, I can trust you. You're in the car with me. I'm stressed out and I need to know if I can really put my trust in you. And they do. They seem to do that because they get stressed out and then they want to put their trust into the other rabbit. So I particularly like the stress bonding more than I do the regular pea tray and putting the pea trays together. And oh my goodness, it's a mess. So I would never, ever, ever like to do that. But people say they do it. I would like to give you the options that here are some things that I've heard, here are some things that I've done, things like that. I have put the cages together like this, and it has worked wonders. And if I see that they're still kind of getting at each other, I do the stress bonding. That has worked tremendous. Then what you do is you put your rabbit in together for 15 minutes a day and you see how they do. And then after a while, after a few weeks of doing that, then you can see if they're getting along. Then if they're getting along so much and so good, then you can put them in together for the night. If you see that they are doing well at night, they're not fighting, they're not mounting, they're getting along, you don't see any issues, then it's move-in day. Please be very patient with your rabbit. There are some rabbits out there that it takes months to do this, and then there are some that takes days. There are some that just don't want to be around other rabbits if they're in the set or close to them, but they don't like to be in the same cage. So please, if you see that, don't make them be together. Let them do what they want to do and their desires. Because if you put them together and they don't want to be together, more than likely you're going to come home to a tragedy. So make sure you watch your rabbit on how they are doing and how they are feeling. And you'll know by what they're doing. You'll know if they're fighting. You'll know if they're making noises together. You'll know if they're excessive mounting. You'll know that they're lunging. Lunging is a huge thing. Just remember, not all rabbits want to be bonded together, and it's not a 100% thing that it will happen. So always make sure that you have room for two rabbits if you're going to get the rabbit. Some rabbits just don't want to be together, but you won't know until they hit puberty and they get to be into the adulthood of 5 to 6, 7 months, somewhere around there. Then you will see if they truly want to be bonded to another rabbit or if they truly want to be left alone to where they want to be and they want to have a different rabbit in the room, but they just don't want to be in the same cage. They want to be on their own. Remember, it's just like putting your boss that you don't like into your room, and you shut the door and you lock it and you throw the key, and you can't get out and they can't get out. And you are so stressed out because you don't like the individual, or you don't like what's going on, you don't like the circumstances. That's how your rabbit's going to feel. So I hope this helped you. I hope this whole thing helped you about bonding your rabbits. If you have any further questions about it, don't hesitate to give a comment down below, and I will get a hold of you. As soon as I see the comment, I will reply back to you. Thank you, and have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.